I will try to read in Viking Swedish, ancient Swedish, and we start here. Vamod, Stanta, Rånar, Darin, Vadir, Vadir, Viking, Sono. So, translation please. We actually have this material, English translation. But did you recognize some of the words? Although this is over 1,000 years old. After? Father. Sono, son. So, this is a memorial over a dead son, and his father made this monument. And the name of the dead son is Vemod, and the name of the father is Varin. So that's not so difficult to understand. But
you can say something more about it. Take some more about the runes. Where should I get something runes?
Runestones in common? Yeah. Well, the rest of it takes us about some stories.
You know that.
Yes, as you can see here. Well, we actually can read the rest of the text, but it's much more difficult to understand because we don't have the context anymore. Like the people who lived during this period, they knew those stories and could put them into its own context. So we, to a large extent, have to guess what this text actually means today, or what it meant at that time. It, for instance, tells us about an ancient king in Central Europe, Chodric the Great, who ruled quite a large area north of the Roman Empire, 300 years before this runestone was made. So obviously there must be some sort of cultural contacts between the people in this remote area and the more central parts of Europe already during the Roman Empire. So the people here knew about this king and the stories about this Chodric the Great. And then it's also some very strange parts about the pre-Christian gods, especially the god Thor, the god of thunder. So some start to just say, I tell your name, Thor. That's all. So how to understand it. And it's text all over the stone, also at the top. That's a quite special kind of room. It's not normal rooms like this. It's more like a code. You can see that around the making. So maybe that was a message only for the gods, maybe. Not for common people to read and understand.
Thank you. So there are about 350 runestones in this area. There are about 2,500 and 3,000 runestones in all over Sweden, but 350 in this area. And they're all signs, and they're all most of them have text, important text. About 347 out of those 350 have some sort of Christian connotation. There are some, maybe a cross on them, or talk about the Christian God, or Mary, the Son of Christ, or so. Pray for us, save our soul, or something like that. This is the oldest one, 1,200 years ago. There are a couple of inscriptions that are pre-Christian. Otherwise, they have all these signs, which makes them signs of the new religion, Christianity, coming to this area. And you said travel to the British Isles. And we know, for example, Ireland, the Christian was Christianized before the Nordic countries. So during that exchange, Vikings settled in England, some of them became Christians and came back and started to live as Christians, or started Christian services. Also the Christian Christian church in England sent missionaries in what is called the Iro-Celtic tradition. So the first bishops, Christian bishops here in this area, on the western side of this big lake, huge lake, and also they had connections with British Christian bishops, and also some of the Vikings that traveled down to, as Marie said, to Constantinople. Some of them formed a guard to the Christian emperor, and we know that they were most likely Christian, at least pre-Christian, and they received some sort of pre-baptismal sign with an oil and a cross on their forehead and so on. And then some of them returned, and so Christianity came in. So on an individual level, you have Christians here, maybe from the 500, 600, 700, 700 years, and we can find graves all over. And how do we know that they were Christians? Well, they didn't burn the bodies, and they were laid down in a east-west direction, so that were. I'll come to that. And you can not find any food or weapons or anything like that, because according to the Christian tradition, you have one life, and then you will meet God. So you don't need, it doesn't help with food, or you don't have any use of weapons or anything like that. And why east-west direction? Well, during the theme is that God is life, and there's connection. A metaphor, God is like the sun, and the sun is rising in the east. So in the last day, when Christ is coming back, you will rise and you will meet God. So you are prepared already in your grave to meet God on the last day. So that's the way we know that those graves are Christian graves. And then it took a few hundred years, first on an individual level, maybe collective level, maybe a family came back from England. And we know that we have some cities, for example, in Sweden, named after people, after the bishops or after the people coming back. And then of course, a few hundred years later, they were so many that it could decide for, that now this area should be a Christian area. We should follow Christian morals.